excited to be here this morning. You could also catch this on WRMN 1410 at our new time, which is at 2 p.m. on Wednesdays, 1410 a.m. And you can learn more about them at WRMN1410.com. And then, of course, who am I? My name is Jennifer Sanchez. I'm the founder of the Wise Alliance Network, as well as visionary of the new book that's coming out May 1st, Wise Women Empower Women, which I'm super excited about. And, of course, you can learn more about me at wisealliancenetwork.com. And I'm a mom of 3 beautiful girls and a real estate investor. So if anyone's looking to sell their property in 30 days or less, let me know. We can make something happen. So that's enough about me. I'm going to pass it over to my guest that I'm super excited about to be here today to introduce herself.
Hi, yes, my name is Ruby Greenberg. Jennifer, thank you so much for having me on here. It's a true pleasure to be spending this morning with you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for taking my request or taking me on.
My pleasure. I know one of the success principles is to take action. And it just so happened that morning that you reached out to me or to the group.
Yeah.
I had just finished doing a class for Napoleon Hill where we were talking about the success principles, and one of the success principles, it's not mentioned as taking action, but of course it's making decisions and acting right away. And so we were just learning on that, making decisions quickly. Successful people make decisions quickly. And so
I love that.
The action for the day was to take action.
So let's repeat that. Successful people make decisions quickly.
Correct.
I love that. And I've heard, and of course, I still want you to introduce yourself, but before we go into that, I have heard that most successful entrepreneurs and millionaires only need 30% of the information before they make a decision of like whether they want to jump towards something or not. So I was like, wow, 30%, that's it. So just something that, to add on to that.
So my name is Ruby Greenberg. I'm an entrepreneur. I own Massage Evolved here in the West Loop, Chicago. We are known for our couples massages, energy healing, and we just started offering yoga classes as well. And I am a mother of 2 boys, 13 and 11 years old. And I just became a coach for the Napoleon Hill Institute that I am so excited about, just learning about what successful people think, what they do, the principles, how we can apply them in every area of our life. Yeah. And I'm excited to talk about that as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love a lot of things that you do. I think we've known each other, gosh, how many years has it been? I think I feel like I've known you since Today's Inspired Latina times, which was maybe 2017, 2018? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think because I know you're. What volume are you in that
5.
book? You're in 5. Okay, I'm in 4, so you were right after me. So, and then you've actually hosted a lot of my women events. Like I've had some massage events for ladies at your space.
Yes.
So beautiful space, by the way, guys. Like I remember it was like facials and massages, and it's right off. Where's the location again?
It's 118 North Clinton Street, right by Clinton and Randolph Street.
Yes, across the street from Merchandise Mart, right?
From the French Market.
The French Market. Yes,
train station.
That's where it was. I knew it was something like that. So now before we go into talking more about who you are, what's your favorite type of coffee, or what's your go-to coffee drink?
My go-to coffee drink, I love sweet coffee. So any flavor. I love hazelnut. I love pistachio. It's been one of my recent favorites right now. Yes.
Oh, nice. You know what I just discovered? The banana matcha. The banana matcha. Have you guys tried that? I'm sorry. I just thought when you said sweet, I was like, this is delicious. Yeah. I just tried it yesterday. So, but I agree. I love sweet stuff. You're Latina.
Yes, I am Latina.
Latina. So you like what's it called?
Café de olla.
Café de olla. Are you into that? Okay. Yes. Just checking, I love that because you said sweet, so I was like, she probably likes café de olla.
Or those horchata flavored coffees. Oh
yes.
my God, those
Those are great.
The iced ones are my favorite.
Yeah, I agree. So going into your story, I know you have a powerful one. I know I've heard snippets of your story. And I know that when I was thinking about conference speakers, something just kept gravitating me towards you. And then I kept seeing your posts of like you speaking, and I kept seeing your content, and I kept seeing how you were doing a lot of women events. And then I know the whole coaching that you, I think you made a post that you just got certified. Mm-hmm. So I thought to myself, man, I want Ruby. Like we've worked in I brought women to your space, but I was like, let me like have her speak at my event. So how did all of this start for you even getting into the entrepreneurship realm?
I think since I was a little girl, I feel like now that I can look back, I was always trying to hustle, like make some money. I'm not even joking. I was probably like 6 years old, and we lived in an apartment building on the corner of like Paulina and Wabansia in Spucktown. And I would just, go and ask the neighbors like, hey, is there any chores, I can do just to make some money? And then I would ask the landlord if I could like vacuum the hallways or something.
You were always trying to make money since you were a little girl.
Yes, yes. And so yeah, I was always trying to make money, try to think of ways to, make money. My parents came from Mexico, so I didn't grow up having money, and so it just motivated me to find ways to make money.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what we do, right? Like, oh, I need to go make $1. Let me go figure out what I could sell, what I could do, what product can I put out there just to go make something, right? I mean, I could see that, like, with your story of just doing things as a kid. I used to do very similar, like we were the lemonade stand kids. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, we have a house. Let's sell lemonade, right? Especially my sister. She was bigger on that than I was. Surprisingly, she's not an entrepreneur, which always strikes me like, but you did this with me as kids. Like, you have it in you, but, whatever. I'm not judging her. She's a therapist for CPS. But then I remember, like, selling scrunchies. I remember selling candy. I remember the Royal chocolate. Is it that one? The chocolate, that chocolate one that everyone sells for like events and stuff like that. As a kid, would sell that. I remember even selling scrunchies. Like my mom she would knit and make things because at that time she was a homemaker. So she was like, "Here, go sell these." I was like, "Okay." Like, so now I'm here selling scrunchies for $1. Like, the cute little scrunchies. So it's interesting how most entrepreneurs always started their hustle as a kid. Like it just drives them, right? I don't know what you think about that.
Yes, exactly. I feel like, honestly, I think that entrepreneurs are a different kind of breed of people. Mm-hmm.
I agree.
It's something that you're just kind of born with. And over time, you get to express that creativity, and it takes a lot of courage, and persistence for somebody to succeed as an entrepreneur. I feel that people who try to become entrepreneurs, and they don't have it in them, they'll quit right away. If something doesn't work out, it's like, oh well, I tried, it doesn't work. Shifting gears.
Yeah.
And won't keep going.
I agree. I think entrepreneurship is not for the weak. I think you have to have a specific mindset to be a freelancer, an entrepreneur. Definitely you have to operate in masculine energy, right? Like even different things, even us as women. So I'm in agreement. Like it's definitely different, and having a job, a 9-to-5 is like more comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. You just, let me go do my thing, get a paycheck, move on. But like entrepreneurship, it's like, oh, where's my next amount gonna come from, right? Yes. I have all these bills now. I'm responsible. You're responsible for employees. Like you have massage therapists, you have staff, right? Like now you're responsible for other people's lives.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm sure that pressure is even another level of pressure, right? Yes. Thinking about like, oh, my staff needs to get paid, right?
Yes, and it's something that you don't think about so much when you start in the entrepreneurial journey. I know for sure when I started, I knew I wanted to be my own boss. So I went to take a look at some spaces, and the broker that I was with, he was like, well, why don't you get us a bigger space and then rent out the other rooms, or, hire other therapists so they can help you with the rent. And I was like, okay, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I did that. And so I started off with, hiring one massage therapist, and then two, and then the business just kept, the demand just kept growing. So then I moved my location to where I am now, in the West Loop, and got more space. And then just, slowly but surely, I just kept growing. And then now I'm managing about 13 staff members. And I look back, I was like, wait a minute, how did this happen? Like, I didn't sign up for this, because now there's more responsibility. Like you mentioned, you're, in charge of managing other people, their emotions. You have to learn how to communicate with them.
Oh, wow.
So,
that's a big skill.
So to communicate with them so you can, motivate them and influence them to be better as well.
Yeah.
So it's a whole new concept that you need to learn to do, and it's something that like you don't really know it until you launch yourself as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Being able to be a team player, right? Understand, like, I even think you probably have to have a lot of empathy, right? Because people have lives,
Yes.
right? And like people are going to go through things, and you're going to have to be like the manager, because if they're not happy, your business will struggle, right? Because like they're not doing their best. And now your business is kind of suffering. Not that it is, but I'm saying like in anyone that manages teams or people, you got to deal with emotions in real life. And I think being an entrepreneur also requires understanding people to be successful.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
You can be an entrepreneur and just be on your own and be the lone wolf, that lone wolf mindset. But I think when you're really trying to do bigger things, you have to work and collaborate.
100%. Yep.
So what made you go into the coaching side of things, right? Because I know you've had your massage place for a while. I mean, I feel like I've done 2 events there. So what made you go into the coaching side?
Yeah, so I think just being a massage therapist, having clients, having them on my table, and, people just start opening up to me, telling me, what's going on with them in their life. And I've been a massage therapist since 2008. So it's been 16 years, something like that. Yeah. And no,
Almost
18?
20. Yeah.
18. Wow, my goodness. 18 years. So I would just start, giving them some life advice. And I've always been a big, I love self-help books, leadership books, So I've taught myself since 2011, like all this information that just became, second nature for me to share books, share resources with them. And so when I was in a organization, Latina Empire, we were introduced to Napoleon Hill Institute. And immediately, like, I knew, like, this is, what I want to do now with my life. I am a big believer in always working on yourself. I'm always trying to be a better person every day. Like, I wake up with setting an intention. Like, what is it that I want to accomplish today? Doing a gratitude. It's one of the things that I live by, just being grateful. A woman of God, like just praying, communicating with God. I think it's so important, because then you become aligned with your goals and your purpose. And then you have, a greater force that you ask for help. And for me, the biggest thing is asking, ask and you shall receive. If we don't ask, then, how are we going to, know when it's our time to receive? So just...
Oh, that's deep. I mean, yeah, right? Ask. And you have to ask, right? Closed mouths don't get fed. So even that thought process of every morning, like, okay, what are we going to do today, right? Mm-hmm. What's the goal for today? What's the intention for today? So I love that you're sharing this, and I love that you're from the Napoleon Hill Institute, because I love Napoleon Hill. My first book that I ever read in the self-help or that, like, I love self-help books. I was just telling one of the students, I was like, I don't like fiction or like, let me read sci-fi. Like, no, I'd rather watch that in a movie. You know, that's just me. But I love self-help books. I love something that's going to empower me or teach me something, right? So Napoleon Hill was the first, Think and Grow Rich was the first book that was introduced to me. And then he has other books I know after that, like The Devil. What is it called?
Outwitting the Devil.
Outwitting the Devil.
You have to read that one.
I gotta reread it, because sometimes reading these books, sometimes it's like a movie, right? You have to reread them so you can catch things that you've missed the first time. But Napoleon Hill, man, I've read that book, The Think and Grow Rich, maybe about 5-6 times. Like, that's how much I love it.
I think it's the Bible for any and every entrepreneur. It's the Bible.
I agree. So if anyone needs a book recommendation, Think and Grow Rich. And I love also these principles are all biblically based, and people don't know that. But it doesn't say this is a faith-based book, but it's like, oh, this is great. I really like the advice. Even what you said earlier, right? Like, what did you say earlier was just take action, just say yes, right?
Yes, just take action, just say yes, go for it. Have a desire. Like, that's number one. Like, what is it that you want to accomplish? Just sharing a little bit about my background story. I became a widow at age 28, and, losing my husband really shook my world upside down. I had never really before thought about death. I was just always...
At 28,
yeah,
that's so young.
Living my life and not ever thinking about death, Like, I think even if I did think about it, like, I would just be like, oh my God, so afraid, and just, try not to think about it. But now, when I had that experience, going through that experience, I think about death every day. Not in a bad way, but just in a appreciative way of life, of looking at life. Like, we're here today. We don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow, And so it's like, seize the day. Like, and that's why I wake up at 5 a.m, and I meditate and pray, ask God for guidance, align my thoughts. And so important to align your thoughts with what it is that you want to accomplish, because we are frequency beings. We are energy. Everything is energy. And this is not woo-woo stuff. This is actually...
There's science behind it.
Yeah. There's science behind it. And so when we start to think of the things that we want, then we start to vibrate at that frequency. And then we start to attract the opportunities, the people, the circumstances that are aligning us to our goals, to our purpose.
I like that. Thinking in the terms of energy and frequency, and I think it's really important. How do you make sure, because there's times that you're going to have bad days, bad weeks, like there's times that life is going to happen, and how do you manage to keep vibrating at a high vibration?
One of the things that Napoleon Hill teaches, he says, with every adversity that you face, there is a seed of equivalent benefit. So there's always a silver lining to everything. Sure. And it's really all in what you focus on. And even if you fail, right, if something doesn't go the way you wanted, it doesn't mean that you're a loser or that, you failed completely. You only fail when you give up. It's just... you're just being shown, okay, this way doesn't work. So it's like, okay, that didn't work this way. I'm going to shift gears now.
Go another direction.
Yeah, and sometimes if we dwell on that, if we're like, oh, man, like, this person turned me down, and I'm a failure. No, like, okay, this person turned me down, but there's so many other people that, you can ask for that sale or for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So just, being persistent and not taking your eyes off of your goal and just adjusting your sails instead.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because you're right? Like, a lot of people are terrified of rejection. and then they correlate the rejection as like, especially if you're in sales or an entrepreneur, like they take it very personal. It's not really personal. It's just they're not the right fit. They're not the right. It's not the right time. Whatever the situation. So move on to the next person, right? Someone else is gonna say yes. You know, and I think it's to me. I always seen it as a numbers game. Okay, it didn't work here. Let me go to the next. Where's the next? You know, who's the next person? And understand that sometimes it's not gonna work out, and it is all right, right? It's fine.
Yes, exactly. Just find whatever does work and focus on that.
Yeah. So now you're doing the coaching, the massage, right? I love that. You have 2 boys, right? If I remember correctly, you have 2 boys. How is that balancing the motherhood and balancing this business that you have, you know, in West Loop, right? I'm sure and you're a widow, so I'm sure it's a lot.
Yes. I have a huge support system at home. My parents help me so much with my kids, and without them, honestly, I don't think I would be able to do as much as I'm doing, because they're there for me, and I'm just so grateful to them and so happy to have such a amazing like support system. And you know, my parents are like my best friends, so I love them very much.
I love that you have that support, because it could be difficult if you don't and you're on your own, and then you and your kids, right? But I'm sure your kids are like teenagers now. I think when I first met you, they were little.
Yes.
How old are they now?
13 and 11. So they're pretty self-sufficient at this point.
Yeah, that's good. Those are great.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. So now moving forward, what, you know, we'll talk more about this, but what are some things that you're working on right now, you know, that you're hoping for your business? How are you going to expand your business?
I just expanded offering yoga services. I would love to develop a community of like-minded people who are into like the yoga, the energy healing, the meditation. I think that right now, given the state of the world, we have so much happening, and I think it's so important for us to take care of our mind, take care of our body, and just offering that space to people to come and, you know, just let go, take a pause, and feed themselves, nurture their mind, their body, their soul. I think that is very, you know, important for your health and mental well-being.
Are you also certified as yoga instructor, or you have yoga instructors there?
No, we have a yoga instructor.
Very nice. Okay, yeah. I remember one of your massage therapists. He was amazing. So I was just like, I remember you're like, I'm going to pair you up with this massage therapist. He is great. And I was like, you are right. He is great.
Yes. And I just want to say, like, this is important. So many people, like men, don't want to massage by a man. Women don't want to massage by a man. One of the best massages you'll get is with a man, because, you know, it's just the pressure is always great. They're very, you know, my therapists are very professional. They have so many years experience. One of them, you know, he even works for the Joffrey Ballet. So sometimes let's just, you know, give men a chance in the massage therapy world.
That makes sense. Yeah. It was great. And he was a man. So I enjoyed it. But you're right. I think that's important. Like, give everybody a shot, because you would think maybe massage therapists are more women, right? Or maybe, but then I don't know, that's a stereotype. But I really think this is a great conversation. I really appreciate everything that you're bringing to the forefront and talking about. And I would like to learn more of the success principles, right? And I'm excited that we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, talking about like the conference, talking about what you're working on, talking about, you know, any quests that you might have. I'm super excited to talk about all those things. So thank you. So for everyone that's listening, you know, you're watching WRMN 1410. You're listening to the Wise Coffee Chat Show. We're definitely going to be right back. We're talking to Ruby Greenberg. So stay tuned. So we are back on the Wise Coffee Chat Show. And if you're just tuning in, we have been interviewing Ruby Greenberg, and she is from Massage Evolve. She's also a coach with Napoleon Hill Institute, which I love the fact that she's part of that community, because I just love the Napoleon Hill books. And now I feel like I want to read it again. Like, let me pick up this book and read it again. They're listening to it on audio, right? Because they even have a Think and Grow Rich for women, specifically for women. I don't know if you saw that remake of.
Yes, there's been so many remakes of it. There's also one for kids.
I didn't know there was a kid one. That's cool. So I know that if you go to my library in my house, because I do have like a lot of books, and my sister's like, get rid of them. I'm like, no, I don't care. Like, I'm like Beauty and the Beast. Like, I love books. Even if I haven't read them, I just like the smell of them. I like the look of them. I like to know I have them. I don't know. It's some like a weird.
Yeah.
a weird.
No, I mean, it's not weird.
Well, not weird, but but I enjoy just knowing that like I can just go and grab a book and read, out of whatever I have. And I've been building my library for like 20 years. So, the fact that you're saying there's even a kid one, that's awesome, and teaching our kids these principles are critical,
Yes.
So I guess you do public speaking, right? You like to public speak. I mean, I know you've done it. How has that been? Because I think you're doing it more now than before from what I've seen. How's that journey in the public speaking realm been for you?
Great. I just almost restarted with more intention. Now that I am a coach, I do also have my podcast that I just started as well, called Mystic and Made. And the reason why I called it Mystic and Made, because I feel like it really marries both of my personalities. One, it being, mystic in the world of massage therapy, energy healing, mindfulness, and as well as like the made part which is more of that logical taking action. Okay. So, sometimes what I've noticed is, in the, I'm just going to use the woo-woo side, right, of
Go
the
woo-woo.
world. It's all about like, just the law of attraction and like, just think about everything you want and, you're going to manifest it. But it's like, sure, think about it, but like go out there and take action.
Actually do something about it.
Do something about it. Don't just, say like, well, I want to be a millionaire and I'm just going to pray and I'm just going to like grab my crystals and like, I love crystals. I have crystals. So it's like, sure, you can use all those tools, but you need to go out there and take action. Like that is important,
Sure. I mean, I'm a big believer, like faith without works is dead. So like, it doesn't matter how much faith or how much you believe in something if you're not actually applying yourself, trying, doing something, right? Coming up with the ideas, like it just doesn't happen,
Yes.
And I think it also takes years of work to even get to that level, right? Like, I'm a big believer, like you got to heal traumas, right? You have to deal with the inner work. And in order for you to receive the next thing or the next best thing, you got to do things to make it happen, right? Like, if you can't manage like $10, what makes you think you're going to manage 100? Like, if you can't take care of $1,000, what makes you think you're going to take care of $10,000, right? Like, and I think people don't realize the fact that if you don't take care of what you have now, how are you going to be ready to receive the next best thing, right? Like, so you can't, it's always a work towards like, yeah, I want to be a millionaire. Great. What are you doing to make it happen?
Exactly. Yes.
Like, right. And I there's so many moving parts to that. I mean, we could have a whole conversation around that,
Yes, for sure.
I think that's, especially like entrepreneurs, that's something that, a lot of entrepreneurs aspire to have the 6 figures and what does that look like? But they don't realize all the crying nights, the stress, right? Like, and that's just maybe my experience. Your experience might be entirely different, right? But I know that that's been my experience,
The They say with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, that sometimes, I'm like, why do I don't want this? Like, why did I choose this life? Or why did this life chose me?
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes that is the life chose you, right? Did you ever think that you were gonna become a massage therapist and build the massage location you have?
No, I actually started at 18 years old. I became part of this MLM business,
Oh, which one?
Quick Star.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's Quick Star Amway. I think that's what
Oh,
it's
okay,
called.
Amway. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's where actually I got introduced to Napoleon Hill and all these self-help books. And I, knew in my heart, I guess, that I was always going to be, a business owner. And my parent, I was always a straight A student. I actually had a full scholarship to UIC. So I went to UIC.
Yes, we both went to UIC. Now I remember. Okay.
And when I was there, I was just like, this doesn't feel right. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. And
Really?
I dropped out. I didn't even finish, like, the first semester, to be
Really?
honest. Yes. I'm a very intuitive person, and, like, I'm very in tune with my feelings. And, like, if something doesn't feel right, like, I'm just like, no. And so, I went, and my parents are like, what, are you crazy? Because obviously, my immigrant parents want me to succeed, and the way to succeed in America is to get a good education.
Of course.
Right? Yeah. And so you can get a good job. And so I was just like, nope, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go the traditional way. I know I want to have my own business. I was around, Quick Start. Everybody has a business owner mindset. And that's where I really started to develop my mindset. I didn't, I've met people, like I still talk to them. They're good friends of mine who, are diamonds, which is like one of the highest levels of the MLM business. So it's like, I know it's possible. Anything is possible, but you just have to apply yourself.
Sure.
You have to apply yourself. And I ended up, my parents are like, no, you have to go back to school. You got to learn something, even if it's like a short career, but just go back to school. I grew up being athletic. I love playing sports. And so I was just like, okay, you know what? I want to do something in the sports world. I Googled like sports therapy, and then massage therapy came up.
Uh-huh.
And, the Soma Institute is a clinical massage therapy school, and they teach you a lot of, clinical massage. And so I was like, okay, let me like put my information, request some more information. I went to school there. I loved it. And then I realized, like, ever since I was a little girl, I would, like, any of my family members, like my mom, my dad, my aunt, my sister, would have any aches or pains. My instinct was to go and, like, massage them, like their feet.
Oh, that was something that you naturally did already.
I naturally did. And so it just came very natural to me.
I was going to say, sana, sana, colita.
Yeah, sana, sana, colita.
Yeah,
yes.
That's so cute.
That was me. And so I realized, like, oh, man, like, I actually really love this and enjoy this, and I could do this with my eyes closed, and that's how I ended up, doing massage. I worked for the Marriott, the Intercontinental on Michigan Avenue, other spas in downtown, and then finally I'm like, okay, I think I can do this on my own, and that's when I decided to, rent the space and just kind of grew from there.
Wow, and that's how it all led. I love that even you as you and your family, because Latinos are big on massages or sobados, right? Mm-hmm. Like massaging, right? I know, like my stepmom is always like, you have a pain, like she'll go look for like alcohol or something, some concoction she has, and we'll start like my dad will be like, my knee hurts, and she'll be like, oh, let me go rub it, which I think is sweet, know. So I think also that's like a love language, right? To like touch and I think people have healing hands, right? So like if you're touching and you might be like healing, somebody like energetically, or however you pray over them, whatever your belief system is. But I think that's a powerful way to communicate with people.
Yeah. I think that comes from like our ancestors, like you were saying, like that's just the culture and what they did. Like they used their hands, and
I did not even think about it's ancestral, because if I'm seeing my mom and I'm seeing my stepmom, and they're like massaging, like, or let's go get a massage, or right, because something's hurting. Let me go solve this with the massage. That even like, I don't know. I don't. It's definitely. I can see this. It just clicked right now in my head.
Yeah, and it took a while for it to click in my head too. Afterwards, where that's when I started delving deeper into what you touched upon, like our traumas or like our shadows or like or the good that we carry from our ancestors, the limiting beliefs we also carry through our ancestors through generations, and especially when it comes to money, and if you grew up thinking like there isn't enough money to go around, and you develop that money blueprint from the people around you, your parents, whoever raised you, and so those beliefs are instilled in our blueprint and in our money blueprint, and that's why many people like won't be able to amass money or won't be able to manage their money.
Yeah,
they have fears as well around money, losing money. Even if they do have money, if you have that fear of losing it, then that's the energy you're putting out, and so you'll block yourself from receiving.
I love that, and people don't even think about that, right? I think the most powerful person can make money, can bring money, right? Like a powerful person could be like, oh, I gotta make quick $2,000 real quick. Let me go make it happen, and turn it around in a couple of days or a day or whatever, right? Like, what is it? Those are people like I've always admired individuals that can do things like that, right? Like, and you're right. I think that's an abundance mindset, right? That's like always and I think, isn't it that we're always scanning, we're always looking, majority of the time our brain's always looking towards negative and finding anything negative with our scanning in our brain. But for someone to be like, no, let me go make this quick, whatever amount of money, that's a skill.
Yeah, so that's with my coaching, that's something that I've learned and that I want to teach as well, is how do we reframe the experiences we have lived through? How do we rewire our subconscious? And like for me, one of my biggest passions is teaching about our mind, because people don't know how their mind works.
Neuroplasticity. Did you guys study that?
Yes, the neuroplasticity. How our subconscious mind basically keeps. It's like our hard drive of every emotion, every experience we've ever experienced. It's in our subconscious. And then we have our conscious mind, which is, the present day to day, when you're aware of, your waking hours and what you're doing. Our subconscious mind never sleeps. It's aware and awake 24/7. And that's why, sometimes we're just on autopilot, and like we're being reactive. And we are being reactive because it's the program that we have in our subconscious mind that is just reacting. But if we take the time to rewire our subconscious through affirmations, through reading, through learning, and repetition is important. So it's like, the affirmations, just repeat them over and over again. And the biggest thing with that is feeling. Feeling is energy. It's what's going to empower, our thoughts and our mind to be impressed in our subconscious. So we're rewiring our mind and our brain that way. And this comes in handy when you're trying to, become a new person. You have a goal that you want to achieve. And it's like, okay, well, change your mindset. That's one of the first things. Like, work on your mindset, work on your thinking. So you're not just, going based off of like your negative programming that you've had, the fears that you have. And fear it's not real. It's just in our mind. It's just something we perceive in our mind. It's not even real. So once you become aware, like, this is just me thinking about these, fears. They're only alive in my mind because I'm thinking about them and I'm feeding them.
Yeah. I think that's something that it takes a lot of practice, right? Like catching those thoughts when it happens, right? I mean, one of the biggest things that I've implemented in my life is just being really self-aware. And every time like I'm big on therapy, and I'm big on coaching, and I'm big on counseling. So when I do my own therapy or inner work, and my therapist like, you're so self-aware. Yeah, because I've been doing this for a long time. Right. And I know that the moment I identify, oh, something's happening, that I'm like intuitive, right, and pay attention to what's happening. Something's happening here that I've never perceived this before. I've never felt this before. Why am I feeling this? Like, what's happening? What's triggering me? Right. And then going back and like reflecting on that, or doing the inner work or the shadow work. I know a lot of people talk about that. Right. I think that's powerful. And sometimes people just are not self-aware. They don't even realize, right? They're just like on autopilot, and they're just like, whatever, flowing through life and letting their subconscious kind of dictate everything.
Yeah. And I feel like it's because they don't know, like, hey, you are not your thoughts, you are not your thoughts. You don't have to believe everything you think about, which is,
sure.
When I read that in the book, I forgot the author. I can't think of the author, but it was called The Mountain Is You, I think.
Yes, I know which one you're talking about. It's blue, and it's like a white mountain, I think it is.
And it made me think, like, wow, you're right. Like, I am not my thoughts, and I don't have to believe everything that we think, I feel that a lot of mental health illnesses stem from people not knowing the power of their mind. They kind of just, and again, like, I know whenever I haven't felt well in my mind in the past, it's because I'm paying attention to the negative, repetitive thoughts that are circulating in my head. And, you start to feel, the effects of those thoughts, whether, if obviously if you're thinking of scary things, guess what's going to happen? Your body is going to feel it. You're going to be in pain. You're going to be in physical pain. You won't be able to move. You're going to be like, just not be able to take any action. But if you become aware, like, okay, wait a minute, right now I'm feeling this. Let me see, what am I thinking about right now? Let me change my thinking into something more positive. Let me read a book. Let me listen to a podcast or audiobook, or let me pray, or let me listen to music. Oh my God, I love listening to music to help me change my mood, right away. And also move your body. Like, movement is so important. I'm big on vitamins and supplements. I'm huge on those, because many times it's just like, maybe, your brain is deficient in some minerals that are obviously powering your brain. And if you're feeling foggy, if you can't remember things, if you can't focus, I would say, like, go check to make sure, you have the minerals, the vitamins that your brain needs, your body needs to work.
That's true, right? So it's the mind, the body, the spirit, how to catch those negative thoughts. What are you eating? If you ate something terrible, you're probably going to be sluggish and not feel good about yourself, right?
Yes.
I've learned that through like marathon running, like, oh, I feel like crap today, like,
that's
right?
Awesome that you did.
Yeah. But that has kind of been always like, well, I know if I'm going to eat this, you're going to not feel good tomorrow,
Yes.
So it's like being aware of even that, right? Makes a lot of difference. One thing I tell a lot of people, especially when they're dealing with negative mindset, which I implement myself, it's like, well, is this thought truthful? Is this thought accurate? Is this thought helpful? Those are the questions I ask myself. And if they're not, then I'm like, okay, this thought it's not serving me. I need to get rid of it. However, and that to me is something I've implemented in my own life. And I tell my kids that all the time. So going to, I'm excited that you took on the conference, that you said yes to be one of my speakers. What's the title of your presentation?
It is going to be on success principles.
Yeah, the success principles based off Napoleon Hill. So I'm super excited to hear that. And, I don't know how the fact that you even agreed, I'm excited that you're going to be one of the speakers, because you've been in the scene for a while. You've been doing this for a minute, I'm like, I need to bring, when I was thinking of all my speakers for my conference, I was like, I need to bring like my seasoned professional entrepreneurial women, because like I see a lot of people doing things, but they haven't been entrepreneurs as long as we have, right? Or been out there as long as we have, right? I feel like I'm talking like if I'm like an old person, but I'm not, but you know what I mean, right? We've been networking for a long time. So that's why I was like, I need to bring people that have been doing this for a while, that know what they're talking about. Not that people don't, but that's why I was like, yeah, she's perfect. I think you're going to bring something different to the table, and I know it's going to be amazing.
Yes. Well, thank you. I want to put myself out there more when I think about helping and serving other people. I kind of focus more on helping women, Latina women, just like myself, mostly because of experience. I know our struggles, which are, if you've spoken to other Latinas, the struggles. They're basically same struggles. It's like we've all lived similar lives.
Because our struggles are also very cultural.
Yes.
Right? And ancestral, like you said, like we deal with things that, but not to cut you off, but
Exactly. So I love focusing on, helping women for that same reason. It's like, I've been through that. I've lived it. I know what you're going through. I know what you're feeling. I know what you're thinking. And this is how I've overcame it. And so for me, just speaking to women, coming from, my women's perspective, I feel like I can be able to relate and offer them, the same tools and mindset that I was able to use to help build my business and, attract everything that I have right now, and just helping them build that belief. Because again, going back to mindset, just like having that belief. If you don't have the belief that you can succeed, unfortunately you won't. You won't succeed.
Yeah, you have to have the belief system and know that you're going to make it. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. And something that I wanted to add with what you were saying earlier, what I love is always evolving, and then you don't know me a year from now. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm all big on that. Like, you better get to know me. Like, if we haven't talked in over 6 months, you don't know me. Like, I'm a whole different person 6 months ago. Like, that's something that because I'm always growing and learning and evolving, like, you get to know me, right? So, like, I love, you were saying that earlier, but I think that's something that we got to implement, right? And for you to want to serve Hispanic women, serve Latina women, I commend you, because that's a big responsibility in itself. Coaching and counseling and therapists, those are big responsibilities, because you're dealing with human emotions and you're dealing with humans and life, and I don't think people get that.
Yes, I think it's definitely a huge responsibility, but one that I'm excited to take on, because again, I lost my husband. I've grieved. I've lost. I've succeeded. I've, rewired my thinking. I have rewired my self-image. That's something that, is important to do. You're, always growing, always looking to evolve.
So if you want someone to reach out to you, where would they go?
Yes. You can find me at, my Instagram is at Ruby Evolved. And my business Instagram is Massage Evolved.
There you go, guys. So you guys can reach out to her if you want to get to know her more. She will be at the Women's Conference and Book Launch on May 1st. So make sure you guys go, and you guys can go on my Facebook. All the information's there. So thank you so much, guys. God bless you guys, and have a great rest of your week.